So you want to make money copywriting, but you're not quite ready to quit your job. Listen, it's totally cool. In fact, that's one of the reasons I love copywriting and, quite frankly, the conversation around side hustles so much, because there are so many career opportunities out there now that really involve a lot of creativity, kind of piecing things together. But ultimately, the great thing about thinking about careers in this new entrepreneurial way is that it gives you the ability to make something that is really curated to your own values, your own desires, and ultimately to create a work situation that fits your life rather than trying to fit your life around your work. By the way, I'm Sarah Turner. I'm a freelance copywriter and copywriting mentor, and I just love talking about this stuff. Especially with copywriting specifically and freelance writing, you really don't need to just full-blown quit your job right out the gate to make this work. In fact, it's something that you can practice on the side and really ramp up gradually over time. You can just take on a client or two, a few projects here and there as you're growing your skill set, you're growing your confidence, and you make a little extra cash on the side. It's kind of a win-win. So just really want to give you permission. You don't have to quit your job to become a freelance copywriter. In fact, many people use it as supplemental income. Maybe you want to help your partner retire or your partner quit their job so that there's a little bit of a cushion and they can figure out what they really want to be doing. Maybe it's a supplemental income to your family life so that you guys can splurge on a vacation or something like that. Maybe you're deciding that you want this supplemental income so that you can travel more or be able to be with your family more. Or maybe you want to be able to treat your family to things from time to time. It can be really nice to have it as a side hustle. I've also seen a lot of my students use it when they have seasonal work. So it's something that can be supplemented because you can ramp up or ramp down copywriting as you need. You can take on projects, one-off projects, and then you can ramp down work when you're trying to go back into your other job. So I've seen teachers do this a lot where they use copywriting to create supplemental income for their family during the summers. I've seen nurses do this a lot when they have, maybe a schedule where they're working 3 days on or 4 days on and 3 days off or 4 days off. And they have those days where they want to maybe work for an hour or two and actually supplement their income. So there's a lot of ways to make it work. And ultimately, they might use it to ease their way out of a job. So they're maybe building it up in the summer times or when they have some breaks, and then that's giving them the confidence that they need to when they really want to full-blown leave their job, they know that they can do it because they've done it in little bits and pieces here and there before. In fact, I kind of want to touch on something that's really important because making that transition can be a huge switch. And what I've found is the most important things you need to focus on to feel confident in making that switch is really knowing that you can bring on clients and write copy for them that is effective and that they're happy with. So as long as you can bring on a few clients, you're getting solid in your client acquisition processes, and then have the confidence to then keep them happy and be able to maintain relationships, that's actually all you need to quit your job. Some people think that they need to be making exactly what they're making at their current job to then quit and take that side hustle into full-time job, but then you're working 2 full-time jobs, and that actually can be really difficult. Instead, make sure that you're good at your client acquisition, you're good at writing copy, and you're good at keeping clients happy long term. If you've got those things in place, then you know what to do to bring on more clients. You don't actually have to fully replace your income. But obviously, you got to be smart, maybe have some savings built up and a plan. And if you have a partner, letting them know kind of what that's going to look like. And that can be a really nice way to transition from side hustle into a full-time situation. I've also seen some of my students, this is really interesting to me, ease back into the workplace with copywriting because maybe they were a stay-at-home mom and they haven't had a ton of job experience for a really long period of time. So if there's ever been a gap in your resume, this can be a great way to kind of ease back into the world of working. And I've seen so many people use copywriting for that. And it's great because, maybe you're not used to working 40 hours a week and jumping back into something like that would feel really jarring. And instead, you can kind of slowly ramp up your work as you learn and as you're excited to grow your client base. I've also seen people use copywriting to kind of apply their knowledge in a different area. So, for example, a dental assistant who is then also writing for dental practices or related e-commerce stores or other things in that field, they get to take the information and the knowledge that they have in that particular field and then use it creatively in writing and in marketing and helping other people grow their practices. So it can be really helpful at kind of breaking up the monotony of doing the same thing day in and day out. And especially in the dental assistant example, I've seen a lot of students who they get to choose how many days a week they're doing that. And so if they only want to do it for 2 or 3 days, but they still really enjoy it, then they can supplement the rest of their week with copywriting in the same industry or in a completely different industry. So it's another way that I've seen a lot of people use this as a side hustle. Another way that you can use copywriting as a side hustle is to use it as supplemental knowledge to marketing a different business. So for example, I've had people who study copywriting and implement copywriting to then grow their own business, right? A health coach, for example, maybe they studied it, they wrote for other health coaches, but then they were eventually able to take that and turn it back into their health coaching business and actually grow that from all of the information that they've come to learn as a freelance copywriter. It's really cool, actually, when I see students take copywriting and then integrate it into their own business model that isn't necessarily anything to do with copywriting per se, but because you have to know marketing to be a good copywriter, you ultimately understand the systems and things that you need in place to make a successful business. And so you can take that information and apply it to another business, and it's been really cool to watch. I've also seen people use copywriting as a side hustle to really complement their work-life experience. For example, if they have a particular business that they're passionate about, maybe a nonprofit, they can take what they learn with copywriting and then apply it to actually give back, which is really cool. I've actually done this quite a bit where I've had a business and I've offered my copywriting services as a donation, which is really cool when you think about it because it's something that creates donations over and over and over again. So it's almost better than just like giving them a one-time payment. So that's another thing that I've seen people use copywriting kind of as a side hustle for, and it's a really cool opportunity and skill set to be able to gift someone. The other thing that's really interesting about copywriting as a side hustle is I've seen people kind of take that first step and then discover the next alternative for them. And that's one of the cool things about being an entrepreneur in general is that you can kind of shapeshift your business as you grow and with different seasons of life and when you have different needs. You know, maybe there's a period where you want to work really hard, you're young, you don't have any kids yet, and then maybe you want to start having a family and working a little bit less and being at home more. You get to really shapeshift your life to kind of fit your values and what your needs are at that point in time. And so I've seen people take copywriting as a side hustle and then turn it into an editing career or ghostwriting books or becoming a business manager or social media manager. It's really cool when you kind of lead your own journey to be able to pick new skill sets and just opportunities that come across your path to discover things that are ultimately fulfilling and light you up. And for some people, you know, copywriting in and of itself, just doing that one thing all the time is too much copywriting, right? So you can supplement it with things like maybe graphic design and stuff like that. So copywriting as a side hustle is extremely flexible, extremely lucrative. And I just kind of wanted to get on here and give you permission to use it as a side hustle because it can be a really rewarding one. And who knows, maybe eventually you'll want to quit. I've seen quite a few, specifically nurses that come to mind, where when it came time to actually having children themselves and they had to deal with, you know, asking off for maternity leave, they were using copywriting as a side hustle. And then when that time came and they were not given the maternity leave that they were very much owed, in my opinion, decided to kind of go all in on copywriting. And it feels really good when you have something like that in your back pocket. So that's another benefit of just like having a side hustle, period, is that you have an alternative source of income, you're diversifying your income, and you're kind of making your life resilient to the changes of life, the changes in the economy, And it's a really good feeling to know that you have many different ways to kind of support yourself and your family. So anyway, just wanted to pop in here, give you permission. If you want to do it as a side hustle, do it as a side hustle. You are in charge, my friend. And of course, if that helped, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. This was requested specifically by somebody in the comments, so leave a comment if there's a video that you would like to see in the future. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys.